I'm going to ask you a very simple question. जो अक्सर लोग बोलते हैं हॉस्पिटल्स में जब चमत्कार हो जाता है, like अरे miracle हो गया. As since you super specialize in endoscopy through the brain, have you perhaps performed miracles?
I prefer to call that science. I prefer to use the word science. I'm a believer in science where, yes, telling a layman that we're going to operate on someone's brain without opening their skull can be something that shocks that person. That how are you going to reach here without opening this scalp and removing the bone? Classically, till about 20 years ago, that was the only way you could operate on the brain. But now, over the last 20 years, it has been developed and now it is fully emerged. We're doing hundreds of surgeries a day at many centers in Bombay where you operate on the brain via the nose. So there's essentially a camera put through the nose. You're looking at a TV screen, looking at the brain and operating on tumors of the brain. That's where I was this morning.
You were operating brain tumors
through the nose.
So just to be clear, you're an ENT specialist and a brain surgeon at the same time.
So I'm an ENT specialist who has specialized by doing fellowship, studying and gaining experience in the field where we operate on the brain through the nose. Now that surgery is done by an ENT and a neurosurgeon at the same time together, where there are 4 hands operating on the brain.
If you want to watch small segments of the podcast, subscribe to Dostcast Clips.
That's
where
crazy.
my 2 hands, where one is holding the camera and one is holding an instrument, and the neurosurgeon standing next to me with 2 instruments in his hand. So there are 4 instruments going through your 2 nostrils into the brain.
Are you guys successful?
Yes, most of the time.
Congratulations. What since you don't deal with perhaps more sensitive areas like the heart or the liver, जहाँ पे ज़्यादातर surgery से केस ज़्यादा आते हैं ना, like more people have open bypass surgeries and whatnot. What's been the toughest surgeries that you've performed?
So I would say that part of our practice deals with operating on parts of the ENT which are not that dangerous. For example, a septum. And then there are surgeries where they are very dangerous where, for example, like I said, operating on the brain or even doing a surgery for sinusitis. Inside the nose, in the sinuses, there are lots of structures of the head which come into contact with those sinuses. Now, the optic nerve or the nerve for vision or seeing is is literally touching the wall of your sinus, your sphenoid sinus, which is in the back of your nose. Your carotid arteries, which if you cut and open, they will drain the whole body of blood within 5 minutes. Just a small nick. If you don't stop it, it can drain your whole body. 5 liters of blood can come out of there in a few minutes because it is blood under pressure. Blood is gushing through those areas with under pressure. So yes, if you're operating on a cut on the ear, very low risk. If you're doing a cochlear implant or operating on the brain via the ear, very dangerous. Yes, we can reach the brain from the ear as well.